I think people watching this, if they can walk out learning how to build even something very simple, that can be, very amazing for them.
Yeah, can we build something in like 5 minutes? That would be actually really cool.
Awesome. Amazing.
I think now marketers can finally do what we are supposed to do. This stuff that we can automate gives us freedom to actually put the time and effort where we are needed.
It's really exciting, right? The fact that you can build these things without knowing how to code. How long did it take you to learn and build all of this from scratch?
It took me one day over the weekend. It's very fast. Everything was like very clear. What you are capable as a person is super important. And the more you learn and the more you experiment with stuff, just hop on this wave, learn as much as you can, test ideas, build stuff. It's like really exciting what we can do.
I have Sandra Djajic with me today, and I'm really excited for this episode. A few days ago, I was just scrolling my timeline on X, and I saw a post that had gone viral because someone had built an ad tracking software. That's not particularly exciting. What's exciting is that Sandra had no coding experience whatsoever. She used a lot of these new code AI tools, and she built it herself. It's one of the best examples I've seen of someone who was not technical, didn't know how to code, and built a useful app from scratch. So I thought I'd get Sandra on the show, talk to her, and see how we can build this. So in this little tutorial, we're going to go ahead and learn exactly what the workflow is and how Sandra built everything. Hi, Sandra.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. This is super exciting. I just want to say it's 8 a.m. here. So if I make a mess, I'm totally blaming it in the morning. So
Awesome. Amazing. Where do you want to get started?
yeah, so I've been a marketer for a while, and I'm quite aware that marketers don't have the right tools. We use a bunch of different tools to get things done, because our area of work is so separated. And then I had a simple flow that I would use every week, and I would do that manually. So a chat base, we are running a bunch of ads, and in order to set up a right ad or a right campaign, I would also have to check a bunch of our competitors. So I would manually do that. I would go and check different libraries, then take screenshots, then bring that to ChatGPT, then start analyzing, pulling some data, then bring some of our data, and etc. And so I just wanted to have a software that will do that for me. And I couldn't find the right one because most of the softwares, there are softwares, but there's so many different features. So once you pay, you're only paying for like 5% of the features and you don't use
Yeah.
anything else from that. So a few months ago, I was in Helsinki at conference and there was Lovable there and they were just launching their app. I had no idea what that was. And we came there, they told us sit down and in 15 minutes you can build something. That sounded quite funny, especially for a non-developer here, just a marketer. But it kind of did something. So we wrote something, it showed us something, and I saw huge potential. And since then, I think since November, everyone heard about them and everyone
Yeah.
started using the app. So I decided, okay, let me try to do so. Um, and I did it over a weekend. It was funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then I kind of shared it to the world and it kind of exploded. And it
Yeah.
just showed me that we can just build our own workflows without searching for the apps to fit our needs.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what's it's really exciting, right? Like I said it at the top of the show, the fact that you can build these things without knowing how to code is
Yeah.
so amazing, right? And then I find that with a lot of apps that I've used as well, like number one, it never really sometimes apps don't do exactly what you want them to do, if you know what I mean. So for example, even if there's like something an app for like analyzing different ads, then they like some kind of feature like you want to save them in a certain way, or you want to bookmark them, or you want to add comments to them. And they're building it for the average user, but sometimes you're a power user and you need a very specific thing for yourself. So the ability to just build something that really suits you and helps you and saves you time, I think that's incredible.
Yeah. I had three things I've used. It was a Notion page just to kind of store all the information I have so
Hmm.
I don't lose track of it. Then, of course, ChatGPT. And these two helped me to create this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the idea was add a competitor here. And then once you add your competitor, I wanted the app to do everything I do manually. So it will check the libraries, LinkedIn, Google, in my case, and then scrap pretty much the information from there. And then I've done a bunch of different stuff I'm going to show you later on to store that and then to analyze and give me some feedback.
Hmm.
You can run a scrappers. And you can see that it's running from Meta and then Google and LinkedIn. All of these libraries are like public libraries, so anyone can check what ads are being run. It's not something that is like you cannot check. It's just that manual work that you have to do, what is difficult actually.
Mm.
And it's super simple. I didn't want to make something complicated. I just wanted to automate this simple workflow I had.
Yeah.
And then when you go into ad research, you can actually check what's what they are running, and you can check also for me what was important was where they are actually linking. So to find out what are the landing pages, what is the messaging there from the ad itself to the landing page, and etc.
Mhm.
So again, it's not something complicated. It's just a simple workflow or a manual work that I was doing and putting so much hours that I just wanted to automate. And then, so as I said, everything is pretty much in the Notion page because I needed a place where I would, if something goes wrong, I would just come back to it and check what exactly is happening or have someone to check it for me, some developer friend who understand what's happening. And then it was two AIs communicating with each other, and I was just a middleman where I would explain pretty much my workflow to ChatGPT and then ask what exactly I need to write to Lovable to be able to pull this there. And OpenAI pretty much was doing all the prompts. So I can show you one example of a prompt.
So just to, make it simple for folks who are tuning into this, so you're using Notion almost as like a notepad where you can take notes on
Yeah.
everything that you wanted to do so you don't forget, right? Writing things down.
All the code I have put to Lovable, everything that ChatGPT told me to put to Lovable, I put it also
Interesting.
in the notes. Because sometimes you get lost in the conversation. Like myself, I'm not a developer, so I don't exactly know what is like scraper. First of all, it's
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
so in order for me to track what I was doing, I need to like have a Notion page where everything is listed there.
Yeah, yeah. I think a very important part of like building anything is you want to keep track of all of the bugs as well, things that don't work fine, and you can just
Yes.
list them, and then you can basically make sure that you resolve each bug, one by one by one. So, for
Yeah.
example, if your website's login isn't working, or if a certain button on the website isn't clickable, you go ahead and write that down in a Notion doc like this, and then you just go ahead and tackle them one by one. I'm not sure if if that's what your process was, but I know that a lot of people have similar documentation where they write down, like a bug or feature request, and then they go build them one by one by one.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was just important to have a simple layout or step by step of the things that I've put to Lovable to understand once if I have or if I stumble on a problem to understand where this problem could have happened. Because as I said, I didn't understand why am I using, Google Sheets and what is the point of make.com, like what is the webhook and what kind of reaction is happening once I press, run a scraper. I just needed a place where everything is listed there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why this Notion page is here.
Yeah. And for folks who are listening in who don't know what a scraper is, it just basically think of it as a tool that goes to a website and pulls a bunch of data you want. So for example, if there's a fashion website that has like, pants and tops on it, and if I wanted to get data on all the pants, or if I wanted to get all the pants from that website, the scraper goes make sure that it gets all the pants and then pulls them into whatever your app or document, whatever else that might look like.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned that.
Fair. And out of curiosity, like, how long did it take you to learn and build all of this from scratch?
For the past 2 years, I've been part of building public community where you have a lot
Mm,
of developers sharing whatever they are building. So my technical knowledge was just like to understand at least why I need some platforms. So,
mm,
I went a little bit further from HTML and CSS. So just a step there. So I kind of knew what I want, or at least how I'm like, I need Lovable, but in the same time, I will need something to connect the back end with something. Like it needs to be
yeah,
connected. So that was my,
fair.
not more than that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it took me, so as I said, it was, I think, Sunday, one day over the weekend, and few hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's very fast. And
Yeah,
I haven't stumbled on like a real problem where I couldn't figure out what is wrong. Everything was like very clear.
yeah.
Even like this is a stupid example, probably if people that are developers are listening to this. I had to find out like where is an API code from my own ChatGPT or OpenAI, and it was just like that was a bigger problem than like putting all of this stuff together.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And for folks who are listening who are not sure what an API is, this is going to be very important in this discussion because that's a lot of like what the backend of the app is like, it's making API calls to different um, places like Google Ads and Facebook Ads. Just think of an API as a pipe between your app and some other app. So, for example, if I want to get ads from Facebook, I basically, connect to Facebook's API, and through that API or through that, digital pipe, I can get the data that I want into my app. It's just, like a very simple way that, it's just piping for the internet that lets apps essentially talk to each other and transfer data between each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think for folks who are listening and, they might say, okay, looks like Sandra knows a little bit of stuff like what HTML, CSS, or what an API is. If I'm correct, you can just go search these things on ChatGPT, right? So for example, if you're
Yeah,
building on Lovable and you're like, okay, this feature isn't working, can you explain why it isn't working and what I need to do about it? I'm I'm like 95% sure that ChatGPT can just go ahead and do that for you, correct?
exactly, exactly. For most of the stuff, I also didn't know, like especially these connectors. I couldn't figure out how is this even possible, how everything is like reacting. So I would also ask someone might find it like stupid questions, but for me it was just like I need to understand in my head what exactly am I doing. I just wanted to show something cool when I was creating at least the interface. You could also I was also adding colors,
Hmm. Nice.
and you can see it as well. Like
Oh, wow. So you're generating design elements with ChatGPT as well as you're building
yeah,
the app. Okay,
yeah,
very cool. Very cool.
yeah.
Nice.
I was
Great.
like, if I'm gonna build this app, I want to make it cute and nice.
Yeah. Sandra, today we're going to just go ahead and build a very simple app. Do you want to tell us what this app is?
Yeah, so we're gonna build a to-do list, very simple to-do list, make it cute, make it nice, make it useful for us.
Amazing. And so the first step here is you're going to go ahead and pop in the idea into ChatGPT, correct?
Yes, so the first thing I always do is to ask ChatGPT to make me a really good prompt because I'm quite bad at doing prompts, but ChatGPT is very, very good. Also, I want to say that English is not my first language, so I'm gonna make a bunch of spelling mistakes.
That's all good.
Um, I want to make a super cute, nice, clean teddy bears to-do list. Pink flowers, but still clean and minim in lovable.
Nice.
And this is my classic approach. Because I know like prompts are super, super important. I've seen that the better prompt you have, the better results you get. So I
Mhm.
always let ChatGPT to make me very detailed prompt. So design a clean and minimal UI for a to-do list app. teddy bears, pink flowers. One thing that we could do now, let's do apps, cute. Try to find an example online. I like this very much. You see, this is not something that you can sell. It's just something that you can build for yourself to make yourself productive, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is very cool. So I think if you have, again, it's hard for ChatGPT or Lovable to know exactly what you want. So I think if you're giving them like screenshots or visual examples of other apps you use where you like the look, yeah, I think that's like a very useful way to get a more precise prompt. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like in my case, when I take a look at the different softwares, each software has its own unique approach and good features. The only problem is there are 10 of them, different
Yeah.
softwares that you could potentially use. So if you can build your own workflow that gathers these 5% from here and 5% from there, you're going to get a product that's really good or fits your needs.
Yeah.
Um, and then we check. Like I always wish now when I'm thinking about it, like it's so cool to have a to-do list and the calendar in the same time.
Yeah.
So it would be really nice, like later on, adding also a calendar and connecting that with my own calendar.
Yeah. So for folks who are watching, I guess we're starting a brand new app on Lovable, and the website is lovable.dev.
So I'm just gonna copy the prompt I had in ChatGPT, put it here, and let's see.
Great. So for folks who are watching, it's just that simple. You take the prompt from ChatGPT, you go to lovable.dev, the main website, just pop it in, and then yeah, we're just gonna watch the magic happen now.
I just love the idea that you can create your own apps. You don't have to share them public, you just can use them internally.
Yeah. No, we have a lot of like these small things as well. So I was actually using something like this for creating my content on LinkedIn. So I was like, originally started as a creator. I had like 500,000 followers on Twitter, then I had 1 million on LinkedIn. And then I basically started the newsletter, and the newsletters had like 1 million plus readers now. So I found myself having to be like a full-time creator across these two platforms and being the CEO of a company with like almost 20 people now. And like my content creation is taking a big hit. So I actually had created something like this to help me with creating my content for LinkedIn specifically. Twitter, the algorithm is just hard these days, so I don't really post that much on Twitter, but I was very active on LinkedIn and doing that. And I built something that was so cool that other people on my team looked at it and they're like, oh, can we use this? And then I let them use it. And then they're like, yeah, like we're using this every single day. Like it just makes it so easy. And what I'd basically done in the app is I had like a list of like almost like 100 to 150 hooks. And I just basically gave that app like all of my hooks, uploaded them. And I was like, yeah, I need a topic. Just generate like hooks, generate the post, and give me like 4 different kind of drafts of the post. So I can basically pick whatever I like and match and change and post it. And they liked it so much that they're like, I was like, okay, everyone on my team is using this. I'm using this. What if we launch this as a public app?
Oh,
So we launched this as a public app. I've mentioned it in the newsletter like once and right at the bottom of the newsletter because I was like, I don't want to put it too much at the top because if the app isn't good, then it's going to look bad on me and in front of my audience. And we did that. And the app, like just with that one thing, has more than 500 users. And we have like, I think we made like something like $5,000 on that first day without
no.
even trying.
Yeah, but that's like a prime example. Oh, this is not something to be scared. This happened to me as well. So some kind of error happened, and it's always like super scary. So let's see. Um, try to fix, and then Lovable does the fixing as well.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool that it can just kind of go ahead and debug
Yes.
itself.
Yes. And we got it.
Amazing. So for folks who are watching this, as you can see, there was a small error like 5 seconds ago where it said it couldn't generate the app. We just clicked on fix error and it just went ahead and fixed the error itself. And it looks like now we have a to-do list app right there and then.
Let's say buy coffee, and it's here. Oh, nice. This is also cool. if I need it on the first spot, it's gonna be there. Okay, now we can take a screenshot, send this to ChatGPT. This is what I got. I need also calendar tab, which I can later on connect to my own Google Calendar. See my meetings. So what I want to have a cute to-do list here for my daily task, but I also want to have a tab here so I can also check my calendar and see
Yeah.
what are upcoming meetings. And I've done this when I was making the Ad Competitor app. I would always take a screenshot of the results I got. So also ChatGPT understands how the platform, how the app looks like. So when I say, hey, I need this tab or a button somewhere, he knows exactly where to position it.
I see. That's very cool. Yeah. I think this is very nice, right? So like what I'm noticing now is obviously first amazing. We went ahead, we kind of gave it some we gave ChatGPT some screenshots of the look that we wanted. So ChatGPT then generated that prompt for Lovable. We went ahead, put that prompt in Lovable. Now we have this thing. And what we're doing now is we're adding a new feature, right? So
Yes,
we want a calendar. So we're now adding a new feature. We're making the app more complex and more useful to us. And without writing any code, we're just taking the screenshot, giving it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is now going to give us the new prompt, and we can just go ahead, enter that prompt in the bottom left side of Lovable, and it'll go ahead and add that feature for us. Correct?
exactly. So
Amazing.
now I want to add a calendar there, but I want to pull the information from my Google Calendar. So we need to also check because I'm not a developer. I don't know, is that even possible? Now when I'm thinking, so we need to also ask ChatGPT, how can we pull information from my own Google Calendar? Yeah, so Google Calendar API.
Yes, amazing.
And then it pretty much lists you steps, but that's later in the process. We need first interface.
Yeah. And another thing I've noticed while building these apps myself is it's always better to break down the prompts into smaller prompts if possible. So if I want, I see you've done this, right? So if I want a feature of a calendar and then I want it to connect to my Google Calendar, I find that it's best to cut it down. So first I prompt it to add a calendar feature and then I
Mhm.
prompt it to connect to the API. Has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like it's totally fine. That's why you have that Notion list. It's totally fine to go back um, to what you need to connect or what would be once you have that interface, then you can have the understanding, okay, this button, once I click this button, it needs to do this. And that's why as I said, that's why I'm always taking these screenshots of the app. So ChatGPT knows exactly what I want.
Yeah. And while this is loading, right, I think I'm already having like some variations of this idea. So if someone is thinking about, okay, like this task app is very cool with the calendar feature, but how can I use this for work? I think beyond just keeping yourself organized, this can be you can build a version of this that is maybe like a social media calendar, right? So you can go ahead and add your social media posts. You can upload the documents. You can put them into different things, or you can even have like a project management thing, right? That is more suited to you. So you have certain kind of project that you need to manage. You need certain kind of tabs, certain kind of features, certain kind of calendars. You can go ahead and add those as well. So this is like a very basic idea, but you can obviously turn this into something very, very different for your specific use case at work as well.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like it always, I think, starts like that. It's like, we started with to-do list, but now I figured out, oh, in my to-do list, I want to have a calendar because I don't want to have two tabs open that I'm looking at. So, okay, we got the calendar, and now
Amazing.
we need to sync it with the Google Calendar here. Okay, let me take a screenshot. Look, we have a small heart to show us that it's
Today.
15th
Oh, this is
today.
nice. Yeah.
This is what I got. So yeah, and now then we could just connect everything and get the API. We could sync our Google Calendar and then have everything listed here. I actually really like this, even though we were like, okay, what can we create in 5 minutes?
Yeah, yeah. So this is a very quick example of this. Yeah, I think for folks who just read that in ChatGPT, you can basically go ahead and connect it. You can have additional functionality that connects to your Google Calendar and keeps everything in that one place. So you would basically have to go to Google, honestly, just have to click a few things and just copy a little bit of things. And then you need to use make.com to essentially connect both of these things. But to explain this a little bit more, Sandra, can you just tell us very quickly what make.com is used for?
Make.com is to put all of these things together. It's pretty much works as a trigger in
Yeah.
the back that makes all of these things kind of possible. I had two setups. One was if I want to add a new competitor, I press the button, I add the competitor, make.com makes the scrapper running. So it's triggering things pretty much
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
background.
100%. 100%. Well, honestly, this was pretty incredible. Um, it took us, I think, 15 minutes, and we have a working app with a to-do list and a calendar. And if we wanted to spend another few minutes on this, we could have just gone ahead and connected this to Google Calendar, had done a
Yes.
bunch of other things. And like we, chatted about a couple of minutes ago, we could have used this to build not just like a to-do list for ourselves, but maybe a calendar app for social media,
Mm.
maybe some kind of project management app as well. There's so many variations of this that you could have built for yourself. So this is very incredible, Sandra. Thank you so much for taking the time and showing us how to do this.
Yeah, yeah, I really enjoy doing this. It's like really, really exciting time. Um, I think more of us will pay attention on how we work and what can we improve in our own workflows. You've mentioned this social media calendar. Even if you are able to pull all of your best LinkedIn posts and then someone needs to analyze the timing, the content, and then connect that to the calendar and make these scheduling posts as well. Like all of this automation is possible, and it's like really exciting what we can do. So I highly, highly recommend everyone just to start learning and experimenting. And even if things go wrong, it's totally fine. You can just start over.
Do you have any more advice for people who are just starting out?
I'm in marketing, so this is probably from my own perspective. I think branding and storytelling is the most important thing for the product itself, but also for the people building this product.
Yeah.
So I think now marketers can finally kind of do what we are supposed to do, share the story and share the product values and share the people behind the product. So these stuff that we can automate, the boring stuff, gives us kind of like freedom to actually put the time and effort where we are needed.
Yep.
So I would definitely start building my brand and building the products. I don't want to say it doesn't matter anymore, but they are just there. But what you are capable as a person is super important, and the more you learn and the more you experiment with stuff,
Yeah.
um, that would be
Yeah.
my advice. Just hop on this wave, learn as much as you can, test ideas, build stuff, build landing pages, build products, experiment with marketing as well.
100%. I've noticed that as well is it's getting easier to build products. Now, anyone who's looking at this, we're not saying that building something with lovable.dev is like a scalable app that can be taken to a million users, but it definitely is something where you can build it, you can launch it, and you can maybe even get it to like $10,000, $20,000 per month fairly easily. So what really matters when you can build things like this, number one, I think it's really important to learn how to communicate, write good prompts, and talk to ChatGPT. I don't think that's an extremely hard skill. I think it's just a matter of like practicing and doing it over and over again until you get
Mhm.
better. And I think the second thing, as Sandra mentioned, is building is getting easier, but storytelling and marketing is actually getting harder. So if you can, get scrappy, talk to people, join Facebook communities, join communities on X, DM people on LinkedIn, and then really tell how to, have a compelling story around your product. Like maybe it helps you make more money, maybe it helps you save money, maybe it's helped you save time, maybe it lets you do something that you weren't able to do before. I think those are very compelling stories that you can tell around your product. And with a little bit of copywriting skill, with a little bit of storytelling skill, I think you can go a very, very long way.
For sure. And I think people enjoy um, going into process with someone as well. Like sharing your story, building in public, making mistakes, celebrating success. It's like people love to be part of that as well.
Before we wrap things up, Sandra, you're obviously doing incredible work. I mean, I'm following you, I'm learning from you daily. For folks who want to connect with you and learn from you, where can they find you?
I'm super active on LinkedIn. You can find me on X. I'm there. I'm sharing stuff. I'm writing whatever I'm learning. So I'm happy to connect with everyone. Also, I'm happy to see what other people are building, especially when it comes to automation. I think it's super exciting times.